Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Money Down Pod. I am Kayvon and Shawn. That is my guy, Shawn White. Episode 24, a special edition, strictly for you guys. The bowl prediction episode from now, which is Wednesday, all the way to next Tuesday. We're going to give you our predictions on our favorite bowls from here until next Tuesday. And then we're going to do another show next Tuesday on the rest of the bowls, including the big college football playoff. Shawn, how are you doing today?
Doing great, ready to get into these plays and ready to get this whole Christmas season going. We got the festivities going on, so we're gonna get through this, watch a lot of football, and have a good holiday.
No doubt, the best time of the year, man. Christmas and a lot of sports going on, even with COVID trying to stop it once again. It's not going to happen. We're going to power through. So really excited about that. Happy holidays to everyone out there listening. We will talk to you guys after Christmas. So this will be the last time we talk before then. So Merry Christmas, happy holidays, and really happy New Year. Stay safe out there. But thank you for listening. You know, we started this podcast, Shawn's brilliant idea a couple months ago, and it's going strong and it's been a blast. And we just want to take a second to say thank you to everybody that has been with us from the beginning and everyone that has jumped on with us, whether it's today, whether it's last week, whether it's tomorrow, whatever. We really appreciate you just to take the time and give it a listen. And if you like it, let us know. Give us a like, give us a subscribe. If you don't like it, stay around for one more show. I guarantee you will end up liking it. And if you don't after that, we're sorry. You can move on. But for everyone that does like it, we appreciate you guys. Shawn, you have anything to say?
Just say, hey, if you don't like it, then give us the reason why. We'll go back at you. If there's some opinions you don't like, or if there's something you want to hear, we're happy to talk about it.
Yeah.
We're sports nuts in general. Like, we pay attention to bad teams. I mean, you see the dumpster fire fan handle. I like the worst teams you can like. So if you're out there liking the Lions or them bad teams like that too, any of the bad college football teams, you let me know. We'll talk about them because I talk about the worst of the worst out here. So.
Yeah, that is one thing that we are trying to be different with from other shows. We're not trying to isolate ourselves to talk about just certain topics. We will literally talk about anything. You name it, you give us a comment, and as long as it's not some, bullshit type of comment, as long as it's like a legit comment, we will talk about it. I promise you that. That is our whole mantra at this show, about this show, and we just want to talk sports and do it in a fun and intellectual way with you guys throughout the whole time. So, Shawn, without further ado, man, let's get into our predictions. And real quick, I'm going to start with tonight. I don't know, like you said, you're going to try and get it out beforehand. We're also going to tweet this out on the Money Down Pod, so don't worry if you don't see it right away. I'm taking the over in this game. Right now, I have it at over 53.5. I love the over. I think it goes way over. I think you can also take both team totals over. I think Army scores over 30. I think Missouri scores over 24. It's just, there's going to be no defense played in this game. If Tyler Batty was playing, he just announced he's going to the draft, one of the best running backs in the country. He is awesome. I would be all over Missouri. I still do lean Missouri +7, but with Batty out, I'm not sure if I can actually take them. So instead, I go with the over on that. Shawn, let's go into your first game, and that is the UCF Florida game, and that is tomorrow at 7 p.m. on ESPN. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, firstly, I'm staying away from North Texas and Miami. First off, like, honestly, I got to be honest with you. I know I said we talk about anything. I'd have to do some research on both those teams.
Mm-hmm.
Haven't seen a lot of them, so I'm not going to give you some advice that I wouldn't follow myself. That's a stay away from me. But UCF and Florida, I have a very strong feeling that UCF's going to come out and try to dominate Florida. I think they're taking this a lot more serious than Florida is. I've seen reports that Florida hasn't even used half their bowl practices. So even though they do have Pierce playing in the game, I believe, at running back, I think UCF's going to at least keep it close with that +7, but I also love that over 55.5. These two teams are going to score. Florida's defense is not anything tough, and UCF's not going to go out there and stop people either. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I think UCF keeps it close enough to cover that 7 points. They're going to try to play hard against Florida and try to show that they're match for match, even if they're not. I think I just love that UCF side.
Yeah, so first of all, I agree with you on the over. And second of all, this game is actually sold out, which is so sick, dude. It's like 66,000 fans or something like that. That is what you want to see in bowl season. And not to go on like a big tangent here, but this is how college football, if we were commissioners, this is how I would fix bowl season. I would make sure to pair up bowl games that are not in the college football playoff or the New Year's Six like this. Florida versus Central Florida. Why? That means something to the fans. Central Florida fans have their one crack at beating the big brother. And so that's why they show up. And then Florida fans, they don't want to lose to Central Florida. They know friends and family members that went to Central Florida. It brings people. North Carolina and South Carolina are playing. That's sold out already, I said. They should schedule NC State versus Tennessee. Like, they should do these type of regional battles. They don't have to be rivalries. It would really uptick bowl season. I don't want to go, but don't you think that just makes sense?
Oh, I fully agree too. And it would be so funny because I know a lot of these ADs at the bigger schools will duck like the smaller schools that are powerful like that. Like I know Louisiana was getting ducked for a while from like that LSU side and all that group. So when you get that little atmosphere going, I know there's a lot of college basketball teams that do that as well.
Yes.
So I love the idea of region locking some of these bowl games to get some more hype going around them as well. I think when they expand to the playoff, that's definitely something they need to look into doing.
They do, man. It will just drive, because you look at some of these bowl games and there's no one there, and it's an awesome game, and so this drives it up. But yeah, so I'm with you on the over. That's one of my favorite plays, but I am going head to head against you on the spread. I don't love it. It's not one of my favorite plays, but I'm taking Florida. I feel like there's a rejuiced vibe going on. I could be completely wrong. You might being right, where they just are done. They're moving on. They're ready to get going with the new coach. But I still think there's something about those players knowing they're playing Central Florida. And while Central Florida is going to get up to play them, I think Florida also wants to make a statement that you are still below us. So I'm going to hang the 7 with Florida here. We'll see what happens. Let's move on to the Friday game. This is Christmas Eve. Memphis and Hawaii. Memphis is favored by 8.5.
Yep, completely. I'm on Memphis minus 8.5 completely. I don't like this Hawaii team. Hawaii's actually a team that I low-key watch a decent amount. I love to watch those late at night Pac-12 after dark games and different games like that. So Hawaii's always the latest one since we're on the East Coast. They're always playing at like 12-1 in the morning. They're the latest game that goes. So I watch a decent amount of them. When I say a decent amount, probably like 3 to 5 games a year.
Yes.
I'm not loving this Hawaii team this year. I've seen Memphis a few times. I do think Memphis is going to come in and kind of roll them a little bit. I like Memphis with the minus 8.5 this game.
I am with you on that. I also am someone that likes to watch Hawaii a lot because I just love the idea of staying up late and watching college football. So I'll watch this team. This game is actually in Honolulu, and I still love Memphis. Like, I just think that Memphis is going to – I would look at Memphis team total. I would look at the Memphis spread. I just think that this is a game that Memphis is going to come out and lay the hammer down. Hawaii, they don't have to go anywhere for the game. It's just going to be like they're at home, a normal week. I don't see them showing up much for this game. Give me Memphis as well, minus 8.5. There is one game on Christmas. That's Georgia State and Ball State. Me and Shawn are passing on that game. We just don't really have much to say about it. And I'll bet on games that I don't really know much about, but I truly just have no feel on this one. So pass on that one. To the Monday, December 27th game, this is Western Michigan and Nevada. I am on Western Michigan in this game. Now, if you are someone that is a betting connoisseur, I should say, or a professional, then you probably, and you liked Western Michigan, you probably got the right line, which when it came out, they were +4. They have moved all the way to -6, -6.5. And I am still taking Western Michigan. That is because Carson Strong will not be playing for Nevada. Nevada also lost their coach. Nevada is a lost program right now. I don't know anything about what they have moving forward. Western Michigan's actually a decent football team that can put up some points. Give me Western Michigan to blow out Nevada in that game.
And this is I was going to say this too, because this is another thing that they need to do to kind of fix bowl season a little bit. They need to give incentives for some of these players to play. I watched Carson Strong a lot because I'm a draft nut. Like, I love the NFL draft. So I knew when Carson Strong was getting all this buzz, I wanted to watch a lot of him. I mean, for him to be able to be confident and sit out a bowl game against anybody, like even to show off against a Western Michigan team, that shows that these bowls need to be incentivized a little bit more, or else you're just going to get these people sitting out. I'm thinking maybe you need to do some bonuses, give them some pay to go in there and play a little bit.
Agreed.
Maybe give an MVP award, something like that, that really gives them a bump in money with the NILs being thrown out a lot. It's just it's too much when you got Carson Strong and even Kenny Pickett to a
Yeah.
degree sitting out these bowl games because they just don't mean anything to these players. I completely agree with them right now. You're not gaining anything. You're only risking getting injured. So I understand, but it would be nice to see Carson Strong come back and play in this bowl game and kind of show again to the NFL on a standalone game what's going on. It's just it's a weird situation, but I think they're going to need to start throwing some payment in for these players to stay in and play these bowl games to really incentivize that going forward. I'm gonna stay away on that game as well because like I said, I watched a ton of them. I have no clue what Nevada is without Carson Strong, no idea, and I'm just too scared to bet anything other than that. The next game is Boston College and ECU. I like BC -3, and I'm from North Carolina. We both are. So we know ECU likes to play spoiler to people all the time. ECU's been a low key, like up and down program, but when they're up, they usually can beat teams well. I just don't like their team format this year. I think Boston College is going to come out, try to get some momentum for next year, really get it going. I like Boston College with the -3 on ECU.
Yep. I'm with you. One thing also on your point about the Bulls, completely agree. I mean, look at Malik Willis. He went out there and balled out against Eastern Michigan. He felt, hey, I'm going to go out there and finish what I started. He threw for 3 touchdowns. I think he ran for 2. Like that to me, I like. And I understand there's a downside that you get hurt and all that stuff, but they could definitely find a way to incentivize these guys to show up because it makes it more fun. And it also helps their stock majority of the time because Carson Strong could go out there and carve up Western Michigan if he wanted to, just like Malik Willis did to Eastern Michigan. I am also with you on Boston College -3. Boston College is the better coach team. They have the better quarterback. They are a decent program. I think they're just too I just think they're going to be too much for ECU. I think it could be a close game, but I think that Boston College ends up pulling away in that one. Shawn, let's move on to a matchup, man, on Tuesday, the 28th, that I actually think is a low-key, super exciting matchup, and that's Houston against Auburn. Houston, really, without recognition, was an awesome program this year. They lost their very first game against Texas Tech, and they won every single other game until they lost that American title game against Cincinnati, where they were only down by like 4-3 or something at halftime to them, and then Miami blew them out in the second half. Against an Auburn team that just lost Bo Nix. He's going to Oregon. And they kind of had a disappointing season to Auburn standards. What do you got in that game?
Yeah, I got Houston +2.5, and I also have the over 51.5. I mean, I like Houston this game a lot. Auburn has a real struggling defense. It's going to take them a lot to fix things. They also have a struggling offensive line, and now they're without Bo Nix at quarterback, which they had been the last 2 games or so. I think they're kind of in flux right now. They're going to need the offseason to really retool and figure out what's going on with the transfer portal and getting their freshmen in. I think it's going to take a little bit. I don't know if they're going to be able to beat a hungry Houston team that's going to look to go stack up and show recruits that, hey, we're a good place to come here. I think Auburn's in for a dogfight here. I see a lot of points being scored with a bad Auburn defense, and I think Auburn's athletes on offense could just end up scoring on Houston. I think it's going to be a good game. Another one I'm looking forward to, like you said, but give me Houston +2.5 and the over.
Yep, I would love to disagree with you if I could, but I am also on Houston on this one. Houston's moving to the Big 12. They want to keep I think it means a lot for them to win 12 games in a year. I think that means a lot for a Houston program to be able to go 12-2. And Auburn, they're 6-6. They're already looking forward to next year. They're trying to figure things out with Bo Nix leaving. Give me Houston -2, and I also think there will be a lot of points scored in this game as well. Here is a game where we are on opposite sides, and that is Air Force against Louisville. I am taking Air Force +1.5, and you are taking Louisville, correct?
Yes, I'm taking Louisville -1.5.
Yep. Not much analysis for me there. I just like some of these armed forces teams, some of these military teams in the bowls. It's just my type of handicap. I think that teams like Louisville aren't going to really care much to go up against a team that tough. So I'm taking Air Force on that. Shawn, I forgot. Do you like anything in the Mississippi State Texas Tech game?
That's a pass because the number's too big for me. With Texas Tech getting that new coach hire and everything, they did start playing well at the end of the year. It's just too much of a number for me, especially with a Mississippi State team that's going to air raid you out. I just don't know. It's just not a good enough storyline, not a good enough matchup for me to really put money on.
Same, agreed. I would lean towards the over. I think Mississippi State could score a lot of points in this game, but I'm passing on that as well. I'm also passing on the UCLA State game, though. I will tell you, though, I do lean towards State. I am from, like Shawn said, I'm from North Carolina. He's from North Carolina. Trust me when I say this. This means a ton for Wolfpack fans and for the Wolfpack program to get to 10 wins. If they can get a 10-3 season, that means so much to NC State. It does. They are going to go all out. They're bringing a bunch of people back next year. They're going to want to keep that momentum going. But UCLA is also a very intriguing team. They're a different type of team that State has not gone up against. I think we could see a high-scoring game in this, but I lean to State because of the narrative, but it worries me too much to actually bet it.
Yeah, I like UCLA in this, and I know like all the State fans are going to give me crap about it, but
yeah.
I mean, State, it's gonna matter to State a lot, but I do think low key it's gonna matter a little bit to Chip Kelly with all those rumors being thrown around about him at UCLA. I think he's gonna want to end the season on a high note and not lose to an NC State team that I'm sure UCLA people are looking down on. I don't think he's going to take this lightly at all. I think he's going to want to build some momentum. He still has those super seniors that a lot of them are coming back for next year that aren't going to the NFL draft. He's got the new quarterback coming in next year. I think he's going to want to really, really usher on this era and keep it going, quiet those rumors down that they were talking about wanting to get rid of him. I just don't see him wanting to lose to an NC State team or losing to an NC State team. But you're right, NC State's going to take it serious. I expect a real close game, but I'm on UCLA with the +1. I'm on it. I'm gonna monitor the money line on that as well.
Yeah,
pick whichever one gives me the better payout because I mean +1's really nothing. So that's what I'm going to do with that game. I'm going to monitor up until the end, see what the line does, but I'm going to be on the UCLA side for that one.
Yep, and that is next Tuesday. And then to wrap out that big Tuesday, the 28th, 4 bowl games going on that day. We have West Virginia against Minnesota in the Guaranteed Rate Bowl. Minnesota is 4.5 points favorite, and I am laying it with Minnesota to win by more than 4.5, so to win by 5 or more. And I think Shawn is against me on that one.
I am. I'm on West Virginia. Minnesota, I love PJ Fleck. Don't get me wrong. I think he's a great coach. I think he'll move on to a different school and be good. It's just something about Minnesota. Once they lost Ibrahim in the beginning of the year, they kind of lost their dynamic guy. It just didn't come together for them this year, in my opinion. I don't know if they're going to be able to really handle West Virginia. I think West Virginia is going to come out, kind of get real physical with them, get some points going on them. I just like the 4.5. I can't take a Minnesota team favored by 4.5 on many people, to be honest. I just can't do it.
No, totally understand that. So that is it. Again, we will tweet all of these out. Plus, if anybody has been gambling or just started gambling, you guys know more information comes as the games get closer. So some of these games that we passed on, we very well might end up being on, and we will tweet those out. That's why it's so important for you guys to follow us on Twitter at MoneyDownPod. You can follow me at Kayvon_sports. Follow Shawn at Dumpster Fire Fan. We will tweet out picks as well. And then we will be back next Tuesday to give predictions on so many more bowl games, including Utah and Ohio State, Baylor and Ole Miss, Oklahoma State and Notre Dame, and then, of course, the big, bad college football playoff where we've got Cincinnati against Alabama and Georgia against Michigan. We will be breaking all of those games down and having a really good time doing it next Tuesday. So thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Oh, wait, no, real quick. Shawn, you wanted to touch on something about Alabama. Sorry, I forgot about that. Almost just left. Go ahead and break that down real quick, then we'll wrap it up.
I just wanted to this is a very quick topic I wanted to bring up. But Alabama's doing something that kind of a lot of people thought and maybe feared with the transfer portal. And it's something that Saban is doing that Dabo should have been thinking about doing for a while. He's bringing in the best players in the transfer portal like it's high school recruiting.
Yeah.
He picked up Elias Ricks, who's probably the best corner in the country from LSU. He's now just got Jahmyr Gibbs from Georgia Tech, which not a lot of people is going to know about him. He's a running back from Georgia Tech. And when I say that, everybody's like, "Oh, Georgia Tech, like this and that." No, he's really good. Like a projected first round pick from Georgia Tech good. He's got like that kind of Kamara feel to him where he catches really good out of the backfield and he'll just run great between the tackles. He's going to be a stud back there with Bryce. And if you watch it, there's a lot of chatter that Kayvon Butte might end up going there too. And that was LSU's number one receiver and probably about the number one receiver in the country going into the draft the next year. I mean, if they pick up those three right there, that's just building a championship team with three of your dominant players to the transfer portal. Saban ahead of the curve as always. Just wanted to give him props and say, hey, you've got to get on this stuff. You got to get these transfers just like you're getting high school recruiting now.
Yep, and this was my whole thing about Dabo. And look, they were going to be the favorites no matter what next year because of Bryce Young. Look, Bryce Young would be the above all, end all, number one pick in the draft this year. And the fact that he's coming back next year, it honestly has a feel of when Trevor Lawrence dominated against Alabama in the title game, and then came back the following year. Obviously, it didn't work out that great for Clemson. They still went to the Final Four and everything like that, but it has that type of feel where Lawrence was going to be the number one pick in the draft that year anyways. He came back. Bryce Young might go back-to-back Heisman. I'm telling you, Bryce Young is set up, and that Alabama team is set up to be really, really good next year. That is all for the college football show. We will be back right around the corner to talk about some NFL, and we'll drop that as well on our YouTube and every single podcast platform. So please check us out. It means the world to us. Let us know what you think. Let us know what you want us to talk about, and I promise you, we will answer you. Thank you so much, Shawn. Appreciate it, man. Follow us on Twitter @MoneyDownPod. We will talk to you guys later on.